Charlie Munger once said something that made wealthy people nod in agreement and broke people angry. It's not about how much you make, it's about how much you keep. Most people hear that and think it's just another rich guy platitude. But there's brutal math behind it that explains why your colleague who makes $60,000 might retire a millionaire while you're making $120,000 and living paycheck to paycheck. The difference isn't luck. It's not about finding some secret investment. It's about avoiding 5 systematic wealth killers that are silently destroying your financial future while you're convinced you're living a normal, reasonable life. Subscribe now. This is about to click in a way you've never seen. When it ends, you'll want more. Don't lose the momentum. Hit the button. But he looked at his net worth, barely $50,000, and realized he was on track to work until 65 like everyone else, trading his entire life for a paycheck, retiring with just enough to survive but never enough to truly live. That's when he discovered Charlie Munger's philosophy and ancient Stoic principles, and he made a decision that changed everything. He would systematically eliminate every form of capital destruction from his life, no matter how socially uncomfortable it became. What he found were 5 specific spending categories that function like financial termites. Individually, they seem small, manageable, even justified. But together, over 20 or 30 years, they don't just cost you money. They cost you decades of your life, your freedom, your ability to ever walk away from a job you hate. These aren't obvious scams or get-rich-quick schemes. These are normal, middle-class purchases that everyone around you is making, which is exactly why they're so dangerous. Society has normalized wealth destruction and called it success. In this video, we're going to break down the exact math behind each wealth killer, show you what they really cost over a lifetime, and give you the Stoic framework to escape them. This isn't theory. This is the difference between retiring at 45 with $2 million or working until 70 with $200,000. Let's start with the most socially acceptable way to incinerate your wealth, the new car trap. Caleb stood in a BMW dealership some years back, his hand literally trembling as he held the keys to a brand new 5 Series. The salesman had just walked him through the numbers, an $85,000 sticker price broken down into a manageable $1,350 monthly payment over 72 months. His brain was flooded with dopamine, that primal rush that comes from new car smell and the fantasy of pulling into his office parking lot Monday morning. All his colleagues drove German cars. His VP had just gotten an Audi, and after a brutal year of 70-hour weeks, he felt he deserved this. But then something Charlie Munger had said in a shareholder letter flashed through his mind like a fire alarm. The first rule of compounding is to never interrupt it unnecessarily. He put the keys back on the desk, walked out, and that single decision became the foundation of his fortune. The math of a new car is a silent wealth assassin that operates in broad daylight. That $85,000 BMW loses $17,000, a full 20%, the second the tires hit public pavement. In 5 years, it's worth $32,000 if you're lucky. You paid $85,000. You have something worth $32,000. You've incinerated $53,000 in pure depreciation. Add another $9,500 in interest payments if you financed at 6%, plus $18,000 in insurance premiums, because new cars cost more to insure, and you're looking at $80,500 evaporated into thin air. Caleb did different math that afternoon. He bought a 3-year-old Honda Accord with 45,000 miles for $18,000 cash. He took the $67,000 difference and invested it in an S&P 500 index fund. 10 years later, at a conservative 10% annual return, that $67,000 became $174,000. The BMW would be worth maybe $10,000. That's a $164,000 wealth gap from one decision. Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man in the ancient world, had unlimited access to the finest chariots Rome could build, yet he consistently chose simplicity over spectacle. Not because he couldn't afford luxury, but because he understood that every material possession extracts a hidden tax on your freedom. The fancier the car, the more you worry about scratches, the higher the insurance, the more paranoid you become in parking lots, the more enslaved you are to maintaining an image. Caleb drove that used Accord for 8 years, while his colleagues traded cars every 3 years like clockwork, leading capital with every transaction. When he walked away from corporate life at 46, he had the capital to never work again. They're still making car payments, still imprisoned by the need to maintain appearances. And this leads directly to the second wealth killer that traps even smart people. The house that looks impressive but leaves you financially suffocated. Recently, Caleb watched his neighbor sign papers for a $750,000 home on a $160,000 household income. The bank had pre-approved them for up to $850,000, and the real estate agent kept saying, "You can afford this," while showing them granite countertops and vaulted ceilings. The neighbor felt like a king walking through that 3,500 square foot palace in the suburbs. 6 months later, Caleb saw the same neighbor eating ramen for lunch every day, skipping his kid's school trip because money's tight, and working weekend overtime just to keep the lights on. The $4,800 monthly mortgage payment, plus another $1,000 in property taxes, $450 in insurance, and $350 in HOA fees, consumed 70% of their take-home income. They had the house. They had zero financial freedom. They'd become inmates in their own dream home, serving a 30-year sentence they'd signed up for voluntarily. Charlie Munger's rule is brutally simple. Your home should cost no more than 2.5 to 3 times your annual gross income. On $160,000 income, that's a maximum $480,000 home, not $750,000. That neighbor borrowed $600,000 at 6.5% interest. Over 30 years, they'll pay $1.37 million total. Nearly $1.4 million for a house that might be worth $850,000 when it's paid off. But here's the real devastation: the $1,800 difference between what they could have paid $3,000 for a $480,000 house and what they are paying $4,800 represents $1,800 monthly that could have been invested. Over 30 years at 10% return, that's $3.8 million in lost wealth. They sacrificed $3.8 million in potential financial freedom to have 1,000 extra square feet they don't even use. Meanwhile, Caleb bought a modest $350,000 home on his $180,000 income, well below the 2.5x rule, and invested the difference aggressively. Today he owns the house free and clear, plus a 7-figure investment portfolio. Seneca warned about this exact trap 2,000 years ago when he wrote, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more. That is poor." The bank doesn't care about your financial freedom. They profit from your maximum debt load. Real estate agents get paid on commission. The bigger the house, the bigger their check. Everyone in that transaction is incentivized to push you to your absolute limit except you. Caleb's rule became simple. Buy the house that lets you still breathe financially. The house that leaves you with fuel in the tank to build actual wealth through investments. Your home is where you live, not your retirement plan. The neighbor is now several years into their mortgage, still paycheck to paycheck, watching their friends travel and invest while they're married to that mortgage payment. And speaking of things that drain capital while creating the illusion of wealth, let's talk about the third killer, turning your home into an expensive museum that nobody cares about except you. A few years ago, Caleb walked into his colleague's new home and couldn't believe what he was seeing. A $5,200 leather sectional from Pottery Barn dominated the living room. A $3,200 dining table from West Elm that seated 8 people for a couple with no kids. Artwork, decorative pillows, throws, and accent chairs that probably cost another $7,000. His colleague proudly gave him the tour, mentioning each piece and where it came from, like a museum curator. Caleb did quick mental math, easily $42,000 in furniture and decor for a 1,800 square foot condo. The kicker? When Caleb asked how often they entertained, his colleague laughed awkwardly. "Well, we're planning to have people over more once everything is perfect." They were building a showroom that nobody would ever see, bleeding capital to impress imaginary guests. Meanwhile, Caleb's grandfather's house, filled with the same solid oak furniture he'd bought used decades ago, still looked better and functioned perfectly after 50 years. His grandfather understood something the Instagram generation has forgotten. Furniture is supposed to last decades, not get replaced every time design trends shift. New furniture loses value faster than a new car, but nobody talks about it because there's no Kelly Blue Book for your couch. That $5,200 sectional? Try selling it 2 years later. You'll get $900 if you're lucky. Maybe $1,400 if you find a desperate buyer. Furniture depreciates 70 to 80% in the first few years. Yet middle-class Americans spend an average $2,500 annually on home furnishings and decor. Over 30 years, that's $75,000 spent on things that lose almost all their value. But here's where it gets brutal. If you bought quality used furniture instead, spending maybe $650 per year on timeless pieces from estate sales and Facebook Marketplace, you'd save $1,850 annually. That $1,850 invested at 10% for 30 years becomes $342,000. You literally trade $350,000 in retirement wealth for the privilege of having furniture that matches current trends. Caleb furnished his entire apartment for $3,500. Solid wood pieces from estate sales, a leather chair from the 1970s that cost $250 and will outlast anything at IKEA. A dining table he'll still be using in 2050. He invested the difference, and that difference is now worth 6 figures. Epictetus taught his students to ask one critical question before any purchase. Is this something I control or something that controls me? When you buy expensive new furniture to impress neighbors or match a Pinterest board, you're being controlled by external validation. You've made your peace of mind dependent on what others think of your living room. Caleb watched that colleague stress for years about keeping the showroom perfect, practically panicking when someone put a drink down without a coaster, living in constant fear of spills or scratches. He had a museum, not a home. Real wealth builders buy quality used items, keep them for 20 to 30 years, and invest the massive difference. Your furniture should serve you, not enslave you to maintaining an image. That colleague is still working 60-hour weeks to maintain a lifestyle that looks impressive on the surface. Caleb retired early with capital that buys real freedom. And just like furniture that gets replaced every few years, there's another category of spending that creates the illusion of staying current while systematically destroying your financial foundation, the tech upgrade trap. Not long ago, Caleb sat in a coffee shop watching a young professional, probably mid-20s, dressed in a sharp suit, pull out the brand new iPhone 16 Pro Max that had launched literally days earlier. The guy spent 10 minutes showing it off to his friend, talking about the camera upgrade and the new titanium finish. Caleb glanced at his own phone, an iPhone 12 from several years back, still running perfectly fine. He pulled up his brokerage app on that outdated device and checked his portfolio, up another $22,000 that month. That young professional was probably making good money, maybe $85,000 a year, but Caleb could see the future clearly. New iPhone every September like clockwork, new MacBook every 2 years, AirPods Pro Max, Apple Watch Ultra, iPad Pro, the complete ecosystem refresh cycle that Apple engineered specifically to extract maximum cash from people who confuse productivity tools with status symbols. The kid thought he was staying current. He was actually staying broke. The average American who stays locked in the premium tech upgrade cycle spends approximately $2,600 per year on devices. $1,400 for the new iPhone, $500 for AirPods or watch upgrades, $700 for tablet refreshes averaged over 3 years. That's $2,600 annually buying marginal improvements they don't need. Over 30 years, that's $78,000 in total spending on tech that becomes obsolete. But here's the devastating part. A $400 used iPhone that's 2 generations old does 95% of what the $1,400 flagship does. If you spent $600 per year on tech instead, buying used or keeping devices longer, you'd save $2,000 annually. That $2,000 invested at 10% for 30 years becomes $370,000. You trade more than $250,000 in wealth for the privilege of having a phone camera that's 15% better than last year's model. Caleb used his iPhone 12 for 5 years, then bought a used iPhone 14 for $450. The money he didn't spend on tech upgrades went into index funds. That young professional with the iPhone 16 Pro Max on launch day, he's still upgrading every year, still broke, still thinking the next device will somehow change his life. Marcus Aurelius carried the same simple writing tablets for years, even as emperor, because he understood that tools are meant to serve a purpose, not signal status. Your phone is a tool for communication and productivity, not a reflection of your worth as a human being. Caleb asks one question before any tech purchase. Will this measurably improve my ability to make money or save time? If the answer is no, he doesn't buy it. A photographer upgrading to a better camera? That's a tool investment. An accountant buying a $1,400 iPhone to check Instagram? That's status signaling disguised as necessity. The tech companies have convinced an entire generation that being 6 months behind on specs is somehow falling behind in life. It's a brilliant psychological trap that turns your pocket into a monthly subscription to inadequacy. And speaking of subscriptions to inadequacy, there's one spending category that's even more insidious because it masquerades as making memories while destroying your financial future, the luxury experience trap. In a recent conversation, Caleb overheard two colleagues at the office planning their dream vacation to Bora Bora, overwater bungalows, private excursions, fine dining, the works. They were giddy with excitement, scrolling through Instagram photos of turquoise water and talking about how they deserved this after a hard year. Caleb casually asked how they were paying for it. Credit card, they said, about $18,000 total, but they'd pay it off over time. These weren't stupid people. One was a senior analyst, the other a project manager, both pulling six figures. But they'd fallen for the most seductive lie in modern consumer culture, that experiences are somehow exempt from financial math, that memories are priceless, so the price doesn't matter. 6 months later, Caleb watched those same colleagues eating packed lunches, stressed about money, making minimum payments on cards charging 24% interest. They had 7 days of Instagram photos and several years of financial regret. The priceless memories came with a very specific price tag, and they were still paying it. That $18,000 Bora Bora vacation financed on a credit card at 24% APR, paid off over 3 years with minimum payments, actually cost $26,500 total. But that's just the beginning of the devastation. If instead they'd taken a $3,500 domestic vacation, still beautiful, still memorable, just not Instagram-worthy luxury, and invested the $14,500 difference at 10% annual return, in 30 years that single decision would be worth $253,000. Most people don't take one luxury vacation. They take one every few years. Let's say you spend $18,000 on luxury travel every 3 years from age 30 to 60. That's 10 trips totaling $180,000. If you'd spent $3,500 on reasonable trips instead and invested the $14,500 difference each time, you'd have $2.5 million at age 60. You literally trade your financial freedom for a collection of Instagram posts. Caleb takes 1 trip per year, budgets $2,800 max, and invests aggressively. His colleagues are still collecting passport stamps and credit card debt. He's collecting capital that buys permanent freedom. Seneca addressed this exact trap when he wrote, "Travel and change of place impart new vigor to the mind only when you bring a healthy mind with you. You're unhappy or unfulfilled, no amount of luxury travel will fix it. You'll just be unhappy in a more expensive location. The people financing dream vacations are often running from problems at home, believing that 7 days in paradise will somehow reset their life. It never does. 2 weeks after returning, they're back in the same job, same stress, same life, except now with an $18,000 anchor dragging them deeper into financial slavery. Caleb learned to find joy in simple experiences, hiking local trails, visiting nearby cities, reading books in his own living room. The Instagram generation can't comprehend this because they've confused the appearance of a great life with actually having one. But here's the hardest truth of all, the one that ties all 5 wealth killers together. Knowing this math isn't enough. You need something most people don't have, the courage to be different. Caleb was 32 years old, making $140,000 a year as a director and driving a 10-year-old Toyota Camry with 110,000 miles on it. Every single day in the parking lot, he walked past his team's cars, BMWs, Audis, Mercedes, even Teslas. His direct reports, people making $65,000 drove nicer cars than him. During team lunches, while everyone talked about their weekend plans at expensive restaurants and upcoming trips to Europe, Caleb sat quietly eating his packed lunch. He could feel their judgment, hear the whispers. Why is the director so cheap? One colleague even pulled him aside once, genuinely concerned, asking if everything was okay financially. The social pressure to spend was crushing, constant, relentless. Every day was a battle between doing what was financially intelligent and doing what would make him fit in. Most people lose this battle. They crack under the pressure, convincing themselves that one car upgrade won't matter, one vacation won't derail everything. But Caleb understood something most people never figure out. Temporary discomfort buys permanent freedom. The social cost of being different is real but temporary. The financial cost of conformity is devastating and permanent. Caleb's colleagues who spent to keep up appearances were earning the same income he was, sometimes more. But after 15 years, the gap was staggering. Caleb's net worth at 47, $2.4 million. His colleagues' average net worth, $195,000, and most of that was home equity they couldn't access without selling. Same careers, same income brackets, completely different financial universes. The difference? Caleb saved and invested 40% of his income, while they saved maybe 8%. His annual investment, $56,000. Theirs, $12,000. Over 15 years at 10% return, his contributions became $1.9 million. Theirs became $410,000. But here's what really separated them. Caleb kept his cost of living locked at $52,000 per year, even as his income climbed from $85,000 to $180,000 over that period. Every raise went straight to investments. His colleagues increased their lifestyle with every promotion. Bigger house, fancier car, more expensive habits. They were on a treadmill going nowhere. He was building escape velocity. Epictetus was born a slave and died a free man, not because his circumstances changed, but because he mastered the only thing that mattered, his response to external pressure. He taught that the crowd's opinion is the cheapest thing in the world. Everyone has one, and none of them pay your bills or secure your future. Caleb stopped going to team lunches where spending was a competition. He stopped explaining his choices to people who wouldn't understand anyway. He built a small circle of friends who valued substance over appearance, people pursuing financial freedom instead of Instagram validation. The loneliness was real for about 2 years. Then something shifted. At 45, while his former colleagues were still grinding, still stressed about mortgage payments and car leases, still decades away from any real freedom, Caleb walked away from corporate life entirely. Now some of those same people reach out, asking how he did it, suddenly very interested in his cheap habits. The courage to be different isn't comfortable, but comfort is expensive and freedom is priceless. Which brings us to the real question. Knowing all this, understanding the math, seeing the trap clearly, what are you actually going to do about it? So here's what we've uncovered. 5 wealth killers that are absolutely destroying your financial future, while everyone around you pretends they're normal. The new car that costs you $174,000 in opportunity cost. The house that traps you in financial prison for 30 years. The furniture that depreciates 80% while you convince yourself you're building a home. The tech upgrade cycle that turns your pocket into a subscription service for inadequacy. The luxury experiences that trade permanent freedom for temporary Instagram validation. These aren't separate problems. They're a coordinated system designed to keep you working forever. Add them up. Conservative estimate. The average middle-class American loses $2.8 million over their lifetime to these 5 categories alone. Not $2.8 million. Spent $2.8 million in compound growth that never happened because the capital was destroyed before it could work. That's the difference between retiring at 45 and working until you physically can't anymore. That's the difference between financial freedom and financial slavery with better furniture. But here's what most people won't tell you, and what Caleb figured out the hard way. Knowing this information changes nothing if you don't have the courage to act differently than everyone around you. You can understand every word of this video, nod your head in agreement, and still buy the new car next month because your brother-in-law just got one and you don't want to look broke at Thanksgiving. The math doesn't care about your feelings. Compound interest doesn't pause because you're uncomfortable being different. Caleb said something once that perfectly captures this entire philosophy. I spent 2 years being quietly judged for driving an old car and packing my lunch. Now, I spend every day doing exactly what I want while those same people spend their lives doing what their boss wants. Temporary discomfort bought permanent freedom. Their comfort bought permanent imprisonment. The math was always going to win. It was just a question of which side I'd be on. So let me ask you some uncomfortable questions. When was the last time you made a financial decision based on what you actually needed instead of what would look good to other people? How much of your monthly income goes to maintaining an image versus building actual wealth? If you lost your job tomorrow, how long could you survive on your investments alone? Be honest. Are you building freedom or are you building a prettier prison? The Stoics understood something that modern consumer culture desperately wants you to forget. You can't buy your way to happiness, but you can absolutely buy your way into slavery. Every dollar you spend on depreciating assets is a dollar that will never work for you, never compound, never buy you time or freedom or choice. You're trading irreplaceable years of your life for things that lose value the moment you own them. You have two paths forward. Path 1. Keep doing what everyone else does. Keep buying what everyone else buys. Keep working until everyone else retires, and wonder why wealth always stayed just out of reach. Path 2. Embrace the temporary discomfort of being different. Eliminate these 5 wealth killers from your life and build the kind of freedom that 95% of people will never experience because they were too concerned with appearances to do the math. The wealth killers are real. The math is brutal. But the choice is yours. If this video just exposed spending patterns you've been justifying for years, good. That discomfort is the first step toward change. Don't let this be another video you watch, agree with, and then forget by tomorrow. Screenshot the numbers. Calculate your own wealth killers. Run the math on what your current path actually costs over 30 years. Subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell, because we're going deep into the uncomfortable truths about money that most financial content won't touch. No fluff, no motivational BS, just brutal mathematics and Stoic wisdom applied to building real wealth. And if you want to understand how to actually deploy the capital you'll save by eliminating these wealth killers, watch our next video on the exact investment strategy Caleb used to turn $500 monthly contributions into a 7-figure portfolio. We break down the specific index funds, the allocation strategy, and the psychological framework to stay invested through market crashes when everyone else panics. The math is waiting. The question is whether you have the courage to use it.